Check in then with the eNCA Money Desk and look at the week ahead. eNCA Business Editor Devan Murugan joining us now by Skype. And Devan, with the budget now unpacked and behind us, what are the main economic stories in the week ahead?
Yes, good afternoon, Thembekile. Well, look, there's still some residue left with regards to the budget, a little bit of decoding. That's likely to move on into next week as well, with analysts and economists giving their view of things we may or may have not missed. But I think the two big important things on the economic front this week. Number one, we've got vehicle sales, new vehicle sales out early next week. And I think the important thing there, Thembekile, is vehicle sales are really a good indication of where the economy is going. Depending on how much cars a factory is churning out or how many cars consumers are buying, you kind of get a sense of what's happening with recovery. Now, in January, we were 14% down compared to January of last year. So we've still got some way to go. That's one of the areas that we'll be looking at, new vehicle sales. The other one is what we call Purchasing Managers Index. It's a gauge of how the factories are doing in terms of output. Another very important stat. Sometimes these stats may just seem boring and tedious with their numbers, but because we're in a recovery process, we want to take a look at them. Now, with the PMI, what happens there is that it tells you whether or not manufacturing is expanding or contracting. We expect it to be around 50. It's responsible for about 10% of jobs in this country. So Monday will give us a good idea on what's happening on that front. So two big important surveys we have our eye out on for this week to begin.
Also, a lot of company results on the calendar for the week. Which ones should we be focusing on?
Look, plenty. And again, a whole set of numbers, but what do they mean? We'll be in particular looking at a few of those because it kind of tells you what happened with the coronavirus towards the end of last year, especially on the impact. For example, Spur has interim results out. Now, have people really returned to restaurants or not? What happened during the December period? This will be contained in their results. That results out, by the way, on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, and we'll take a closer look at that. There's also Santam results. We will be certainly keeping an eye on that one. Remember, they were embroiled in court with these disruption claims as a result of COVID-19. Also, First Rand and FNB banking results out. That's coming out on Thursday. And again, all of these results will really give us a better idea as to what our recovery process is looking like. And it might tell us whether or not we're en route to what the finance minister said last week, hopeful of a recovery. We'll let the numbers speak.
And the Rand did not have a fabulous week at all last week. Is that slide against the dollar likely to continue?
No, you're quite right. I mean, the Rand went from what? At the beginning of the week, around about 14 Rand 30, 35 or so, and just went back past 15 Rand to the US dollar. The important thing about the Rand is when it is stronger, it contains inflation. But when it loses traction against the US dollar, the chances of price rises and inflation kicking in are bigger. So we want to contain the Rand somewhat. One of the reasons why it did fall towards the end of last week is because across the globe, there is concern that inflation is going up higher. And what's happening is that people are running towards the riskier currency, or rather the stronger and safer currency, which is the US dollar. When the dollar gains, emerging market currencies all around start losing traction. So we enter the week, Thembekile, on Monday with the Rand back at 15 Rand to the US dollar.
Talk to me about the good stuff. A new business show launching on eNCA this week.
Oh, yeah. Very excited about that. Come Thursday, the 4th of March, eNCA has a brand new half-an-hour business show. It's called eNCA Business. And what we're going to do, Thembekile, is we're going to reflect on perhaps the week's business events. We've got big interviews with CEOs coming up in that hour. Michael Murillo will, as he always does, just entertain us with these very informative video walls. We'll take a particular subject there, and we'll try and really get some insights from our journalists in Johannesburg and Durban about our recovery process out of this coronavirus epidemic and find out what happens economically as we go forward. So that's Thursday, Thembekile, eNCA Business. It's at 9 o'clock. It starts this week. So indeed, we're very excited about it.
eNCA Business, 9 p.m. from Thursday. And Devan, you'll be glad to know that with my hazardous knowledge of numbers, I have been kept a safe distance away. Thank you for that.